Hello, my name is Mike Pfaff, and this is my YouTube channel, Living in the Illusion. Now, on our board here, we have our discussion from the last video, and again, we'll go through a slight review, because most of the information will be carried forward into the next video. So this is what we talked about. The mind is mental and non-physical. The mind is mental and non-physical. So in that discussion, we used a lot of information from Google search and from other online references. And basically, what we started out with, well, we want to find out or justify that the mind is mental and non-physical. So we asked AI, in general, a general question, mental constructions. Are mental constructions non-physical? And yes. The scientific answer was yes. Mental constructions are non-physical. They are not in the physical realm. They're in the realm of thought, of concepts, of ideas, of beliefs, but they are non-physical and they are not in the physical realm. That's what we found out. So then we asked specifically about the mind. Is the mind a mental phenomenon? And she said, yes, it's a mental phenomenon and not in the physical world. Oh, okay. So we drew the conclusion that the mind, which carries the thoughts, the beliefs, your belief system, your life experiences, and all kinds of that information, which is all based on thoughts, are non-physical. And so in the egoic world, therefore, objects, those things that we assume are objects, we can measure. We can measure the length, the breadth, the depth, the frequency, the weight. We can measure all kinds of stuff, gather all kinds of data. And so we got a lot of data about stuff. But here's what we found out. All the data will not give you the quality of what you are measuring, the qualities that are inherent within the object that you're measuring. It'll give you all kinds of data, but not the quality of the thing in itself. Now, those qualities are called qualia. And so we went to another source, and you can find it in the description, that states that quality, the qualia of the object that you have all this data on, are subjective experiences and not physical. So the object that you have all this data for is useless without the mind, without the qualities of the thing that you're measuring within itself. Mind and body in the egoic world are entangled. and you need both. But in the egoic world, we're only concerned, we feel that our only concern is with the physical stuff. Now, in other videos, we also found out everything is energy. Everything is energy, and there is no physical stuff. It's all energy. What you think of as stuff are things that have reduced in frequency to the point that your senses can absorb the information. So that's what we found out. Also, from A Course in Miracles, thoughts begin in the mind, which is non-physical. Thoughts begin in the mind of the thinker. It's all non-physical. It's all energy. Oh, what an interesting time we had with that. And now we're going to go on to a new subject right now. And this is our subject for today. And I'll read it off my paper here. Did you know you cannot make an illogical decision? Oh, and this is going to be very interesting. But first of all, let me grab my tea. And I'm having a green tea with Morocco mint. A little bit different. Now, I'm interrupting this before I go on because I don't think that as you look at the last video, you completely understand the implications of the mind not physical and the mind determining the quality of your life through the qualia, the personal experience that you have. Because our cosmology, our scientific approach depends on physicalness. Depends on physicalness. If it's not physical in the egoic world, well, it doesn't exist. It's just woo-woo kind of stuff. But when you realize the non-physical is driving the physical, science has to change. What you believe is scientific fact won't be. It is profound, the concept that mind is not physical. So when you look at the last video, give that some thought. And now we'll move on and look again at the process of making decisions. So, since you can't make an illogical decision, that means all decisions must be logical. Well, and that's an interesting question to ask AI. So let's us do that. And you'll see it up here. Let's ask AI, how are logical decisions made? And this is what she says. Logical decisions are made by systematically analyzing a situation, weighing options, and drawing conclusions based upon facts and reason. Makes sense. So, in that, logical decisions are made by systematically analysis, systematic analysis. And so that's what we do. No, we don't. We think we do. In the egoic world, oh, that's how we do that. And that idea of logical decision making, you might think of as a work project, something that takes time. You got to analyze, you have to get facts, you have to put them together, look at options. You know, when I was an engineer, my boss, he always had us, when a new thing came up, new idea, he'd get the ideas sometimes. And then he'd form these different committees. And in the committee, he would give certain things that we had to investigate in relationship to the idea that he had. And so and many of them were duplications. And then we had at the end, we all had to make a presentation, and then he took the report, and then he made a decision. What was his decision based upon? There was more data that he could possibly use, more information. We had analyzed that, and we had data on top of data, 3 or 4 different committees, and then he would make a decision. You know what he made it on? What felt right at the time. What felt right at the time. Now, where's feelings? Where's feelings? Non-physical. How you analyze stuff. It's non-physical. It's all beliefs and values and experience. Non-physical. That's really what runs the world. But we, in the egoic world, say, oh no, it's all run by physical stuff. Now you got to start changing your mind about this. Now let's move on. So we know what logical decisions are, and you got to make them and analyze options and all kinds of stuff. And in the end, you make a decision based on what feels right at the time. Now, what else can we find out in logical decision making decisions? Now, let us ask AI another question that might seem off the wall. Are decisions made by the subconscious mind, the non-physical part of us? And here's what AI says. Yes, a vast majority of decisions, potentially up to 95%, are believed to be made by the subconscious mind. While the conscious mind is involved in decision making, its primary function, its primary service is rationalizing and justifying choices already made by the subconscious. The conscious mind is not involved in very many decisions. It's all the subconscious. It's all being made at a very high rate of speed. The subconscious mind is believed to operate close to 450 billion 450 billion bits of data per second. So it's operating very fast, very fast. What's the conscious mind operate at? A lot of studies on this. 100 bits of data per second. So when you have to make a decision, now you make hundreds of thousands of decisions every day. And I just made some. I decided to use a gesture. Hundreds of thousands. I could have just said hundreds of thousands. But something inside of me says, I need a little gesture here to get the point across. It's all subconscious. If I'm standing here and I'm going to go into my studio or I'm going to go into my kitchen, I have to make a decision. Now, a logical decision, I got to systematically think about what my options are, what my plans might be, and take a bunch of time to make a decision. Do we do that? Rarely. Rarely. Our decisions are made like this. Oh, I'm going to go shopping. Oh, I'm going to go to the bathroom. Oh, I'm going to go sit in the living room. Oh, I'm going to go whatever. Do the dishes. Do the laundry. It just happens subconsciously. And your conscious mind just kind of sits around and doesn't do too much. So 95%, up to 95% of decisions are made by the subconscious mind. So you are making decisions based upon what you're holding, information that you're holding in the subconscious mind, which is all your beliefs, your values, your life experiences, your moral judgments, all kinds of stuff held there. And when information comes from you, stimulated from the outside or from the inside, you move through that data inside of you at 400 billion bits of data per second, and you make an inside decision. Not a conscious mind don't know. You make an inside decision, and then the conscious mind kind of wakes up and says, whoa, there was a decision there, and then rationalizes why it was the best decision. But at the time the decision was made, it's the only decision. It's the only decision that could be made. There's not another one. If there was another one, we'd have to analyze more information. And the subconscious mind just does it. And then your conscious mind says, oh, well, I went to the bathroom because I had to go to the bathroom. Or I'm going to do the dishes because they've been sitting there for a week. Or whatever the conscious mind does to rationalize the decision that you made. And isn't that an interesting thing? Now let us move on. Let us ask another question, because now we're kind of getting into the scientific method. Now in the scientific method, I have a little sip of tea here. In the scientific method, there are several steps, very specific. And the first step is make an objective observation. First step, make an objective observation. Well, now, that's a good question to ask AI. can you make an objective observation? And here's what she says right here. It is not possible to completely remove biases, feelings, beliefs from objective observation. Human experiences and perceptions inherently influence how the world is perceived and interpreted. You can't remove your biases, your beliefs. Why? Most of them, a very high percentage of them, are put in place before the age of 3 through your family of origin. And on a conscious level, you will never know what they are and how they influence your life. So even if you're sitting there and you say, okay, I'm going to make an objective observation, and I'm going to take out all of my biases, all of my negative beliefs, everything that is going to influence what I'm looking at. Impossible. Never happen. Cannot happen. Because if you did, you wouldn't be you. You wouldn't be you. So here's what we say. It is impossible to remove beliefs, biases, feelings from the objective observation. So the first step in the scientific process is flawed. And when the first step is flawed and you're building on that foundation, it's not a good structure. It can't be. And we say, and I've heard that other people say, well, I'm very intelligent and I know how to set those things aside and I know how to make a pure, objective observation. Well, you can't. You're just blowing smoke. But it's so easy to believe, well, I guess I can do that. I can do that. I can set aside stuff. You don't even know what it is you're setting aside. You don't know what is really influencing you. Now, I'm not saying that scientific method doesn't have a lot of success. It does. But it's flawed. And that's the point I'm trying to make. You're living in an illusion that's flawed. And you say, oh, no, scientific method, that's the best thing around. It may be, but it's not the only thing around, and it's not right. So now, let's just go on and see what A Course in Miracles says. And here's what the Course in Miracles says about the same thing, about decisions. And here's what the Course says. Your mind is the means by which you determine your own condition, because mind is the mechanism of decision. It is the power by which you separate things or join things. The experience of pain or joy in according. And that's what we have. The mind is the mechanism of decision making. Now, I spent a lot of time going through a lot of stuff on through AI and Google search and other searches on the internet. I spent a lot of time doing that. I'll say the same thing. No matter where you go, if you get past the surface, down underneath, all this stuff has been known for science for a long time. We have had a separation a long time ago between science as handling the physical realm and religion and philosophy that handles the non-physical realm. We separated those. There's a separation. Descartes, Darkesian separation. And it's time to begin to recognize that it is the non-physical that gives the quality of our existence to our life. And when life force leaves, the body stays here. The mind travels. The mind is non-physical. Oh, let's see if there's anything else I wanted to bring forward here. I think that's pretty well lit. The idea that you are making many decisions, more decisions than you can ever appreciate. And they're not all, see, your body is making decisions too. The mind supports the body in making decisions. There are all kinds of signals float up from the body into the brain, and it's data. Now, the data has to be interpreted. First, it has to be decoded, interpreted, sorted, and filtered, and then a decision. You can't make an illogical decision. Why? It's made by the subconscious mind. Now, you can fight against it on a conscious level, but if you relax into it and allow yourself to accept the best decision that can be made in the present moment through the subconscious mind, you'll have more fun. Oh, there's so much to talk about here in the illusion. And so we look forward to seeing you next time, right here, where we always are, in the illusion.